Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing some interesting developments across all the charts, Bitcoin, Ethereum, on the Ethereum BTC chart, but also specifically, and what I'm interested in most at the moment, is the total cryptocurrency market cap charts, both variants, so the regular one and also the total 3, which measures the altcoin market cap. We had this cup formation forming on the total 3, and I think it's turning into something more akin to a cup and handle formation. Both structures are very bullish, and I do expect an upside break at some point, but it's just about when. It's just about what happens between now and that breakout. So we'll start by taking a step back and looking at where Bitcoin is actually facing resistance from, and that is from this large logarithmic regression channel, from the power law chart, and from a very, very long-term ascending support line, a resistance line, going backwards from 2017. You can see it here in yellow. It goes back very, very far, 8 years back. And after we've established all of that, we'll dive into the short-term charts. We'll dive into the 4-hourly chart on Bitcoin, we'll dive into Ethereum and the Ethereum 4-hourly chart, and we'll dive into these structures forming on both total cryptocurrency market cap charts, which give us good context as to what may happen next. Before we get into it today, guys, we have an exchange here that has never been hacked before in 3.5 years of being on the market. That is global non-KYC. You can sign up from anywhere in the world and use this exchange without a VPN. And furthermore, with my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life, as well as $8,000 plus USDT in trading rewards added to your account as trading bonuses for signing up with my referral link down below. This is big stuff here. It's an excellent deal. I reached out to them for partnership. They did not reach out to me. I don't get paid by them. The only thing I get is a referral link. And if you want all those things I just mentioned, which you should, trust me, I've done the scouting of the market, you can use my link down below to sign up. It takes 30 seconds and you'll get those rewards and bonuses and you'll help out the channel. I appreciate that, guys. Let's get into the content. So where is the resistance that Bitcoin is currently facing coming from? Well, it's coming from this line, for one, back here. I'll make it pink so you can see it, going right back to 2017. We've discussed it so many times on this channel before, so we won't discuss it too much again. But that line, along with this other pink line coming backwards from 2021, actually forms Bitcoin's macro range. And as per regular macro range analysis, until either side of these macro range breaks, so this side up here until that breaks to the upside or until we break this to the downside, absolutely nothing changes from a macro perspective. Macro perspective is we're still in a bull market, we're still in an upwards trend, and everything is still good on a longer term time frame. So that leaves us with the short term and medium term. But giving more context to the resistance first and foremost, we can look at this long term logarithmic regression channel, which actually goes right back to 2013, just like how the line I just showed you goes back to 2017, but this line is on the logarithmic chart and it's a regression channel, and so that means essentially it's adjusted for diminishing returns. And it also characterizes the Bitcoin cycles. So we have cycle 1, okay, back here, cycle 2 and cycle 3, and all of these cycles take place within this logarithmic regression channel. However, since it is adjusted for diminishing returns, eventually this resistance line is going to flatline. It's actually doing that right now. And given the fact that we still have 5 months left in the cycle until the cyclical deadline of October or November, as per the 4-year cycle, it does make sense for us to breach above this channel and actually create a deviation from this long-term trend, which is that we remain within the channel. But that is where the resistance is coming from right now. I know that might seem existential. It might seem like that's a bear market top kind of region because we have topped there before. But given the cyclical context, it's actually not much of a long-term threat. It's more of just a medium-term and shorter-term threat. I do think that will break. Obviously, if we do end up going downwards massively and we do end up breaking below our macro range on these shorter-term charts, then we can start adjusting our opinion on that. We can start saying, okay, this actually is a bear market. This actually is an invalidation of the 4-year cycle. But at this point in time, it is just reinforcing the currently present resistance that is already here from a 2017 line in the exact same region coming from the channel. And we also have the power law chart on Bitcoin, specifically the center line of the power law chart in green, which has actually marked tops on both of the prior macro upticks. So the macro uptick that took place in 2024 and topped at 74,000, and the one that took place back here at the end of last year and topped at the 110,000 region. It's marked both of those tops, and it's also looking to mark the top right now as well, or at least form resistance, and hopefully we can break that level. So lots of resistance compacted within this one singular level, sitting around $114,000, and that means that until we break $114,000, there's really no new macro move And it also means that's a very strong rejection zone. But the good news is, if we do break that level, which I do expect to happen at some point, we have an excellent trigger for not only buying, but for an explosive move on Bitcoin and hopefully a renewal of hype in the altcoin market. So a very good trigger point there. But of course, we haven't broken it yet. And this leaves us in a position in which pullbacks would not be irregular. If we do see pullbacks, given how big the resistance above is, it wouldn't be irregular. It would be a normal thing to see given how fast we've moved to the upside. We've gone upwards from 74,000 up to 114 or 112,000 in just a matter of a month. So, it's a pretty rapid move, or a bit over a month. And as I've discussed so many times, if we were to pull back to this pocket of support between 96,000 and 93,000, 96,000 being the POC on the volume profile, 93,000 being the macro support zone, and also that whole region is actually being reinforced by a variety of indicators, the Gaussian channel, the bull market support band, the 200-day SMA, everything you can imagine is basically sitting between 93 and 96,000. So if Bitcoin was to go into that pocket of support, I would expect quite a significant bounce, and I would expect a renewed move to the upside and breakout from there. Now, hopefully, Bitcoin doesn't even need to do that. But at this point, we don't really know, because at this point, we're still consolidating on the 4-hourly chart. On Bitcoin, we still have this triangle formation forming. On Ethereum, it's the same story. Ethereum is wedged between its 200-day simple moving average and its bull market support band, both of which have been incredibly useful indicators on Ethereum's daily chart in the past. Ethereum also has a structure right now. It's an ascending wedge structure. Yes, that is a bearish structure that generally breaks downwards, and much like Bitcoin retesting 93,000 to 96,000, Ethereum could very well retest this green region around 2,200. That could very well happen. But again, it's not confirmed to happen at this point because we haven't actually broken those structures. Again, the short-term structure on Bitcoin is still intact. It hasn't broken down yet. The same thing on Ethereum. Even though it's a bearish structure, it hasn't actually broken down yet. Who knows? We could actually see a miracle here. We could break upwards. Perhaps the anticipation of support will be enough to offer actual support in this region without going down that much. We don't know yet. But what I'm saying is this, whether we find support right here or we have to go down to find it, I do think we're in a pretty comfortable position regardless. I'll say this, the market is ready, guys, and we can look at the Ethereum chart and the Ethereum BTC chart specifically, which measures the strength of Ethereum against Bitcoin and is a very good indicator for altcoin seasons in general. This chart is ready to bust out to the upside. I'm going to say that. We have strong support horizontally at this red region right here. We've flipped it to the upside. We've retested on the weekly chart. It looks like we're ready to explode again to the upside. A very big macro downtrend has taken place, and we're looking to shift that downtrend to the upside and create a reversal, and we can see that via looking at the weekly chart RSI in yellow. That line is being retested right now. Again, if we reject for a little bit and break upwards, it's all the same result in the end. But the point is, a big trigger point is coming, not only for Bitcoin, but for the altcoin market. And we can also see this looking at both of the total cryptocurrency market cap charts. Starting out with the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, just the entire crypto market in one, we have something very similar to the total 3, which is a big kind of cup formation with a neckline. In fact, let's draw in the cup there in pink. The neckline of support coming from this red line right here. We've just retested that level. We've just flipped it for support. That's a very good sign that we could be bouncing from this region. If we go down first and retest the 200, for example, it wouldn't change too much. Okay, not too much would change. It would just be a slight deviation of a structure. We look at the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, which is an identification of, or a chart that very well displays the altcoin market strength in general. And we see, just like the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, a massive cup formation forming. Now, that cup formation looked like it was going to break to the upside here. We had 2 separate retests of resistance, but it looks like it's actually changing into a cup and handle formation. So it's gone from a rounding bottom formation into a potential cup and handle formation, which looks something like this. Let's just switch it up a little bit here. We'll leave that resistance in. But we have some sort of channel forming on this side, which is our perfect little handle. And this handle actually gives the market room to correct first before breaching the neckline of resistance. Now, it's important to note that everything I'm saying here is a little bit, I suppose, it could sound a little bit annoying because I'm not really making any short-term predictions. I'm not comfortable making short-term predictions when all of these short-term charts are still within structures. They're not breaking structures yet. As I said, Bitcoin, it's not breaking its triangle yet. Ethereum is not breaking its ascending wedge yet. If I look at the chart tomorrow and Ethereum's broken down from this ascending wedge, okay, then I'll make a prediction. Okay, then Ethereum's going to go down to this region here. Then Bitcoin is probably going to go down to that $96,000 region. But until these short-term breaks happen, until these triggers occur, I do see this as kind of hard to identify, not hard to identify, but hard to predict consolidation regions. But my overall consensus for the weeks and months rather than the days, predicting weeks and months rather than predicting days, is the same. I do think that if we do see a short-term correction or not, I ultimately think that the support below us is significant enough and the time we have left in the cycle is significant enough that these levels, this red level right here on the total 3, the $114,000 level on Bitcoin, I do think these levels look likely to break. The only thing that would change that is simply if these support zones do not hold. If Bitcoin goes below 93,000, then we have something really to start considering, and we have to really start considering the bear case. But I see that as quite unlikely because that, in my view, would entail a break of the 4-year cycle. So quite a strong position on the macro and the markets. Medium term and short term is a little bit uncertain and hard to find clarity on. But overall, I think we're in a decent position. And I think there's a very, very big macro trigger coming up. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, guys. I'll try to keep it fresh in the next video. Perhaps we'll go deeper into the altcoin market. Or maybe leave me a suggestion down in the comments down below. Check out the Bitunix Exchange. It's virtually global non-KYC. There's very, very few restrictions on this exchange. I think Hong Kong is one of them. Other than that, you're pretty much golden to use it with no VPN, unrestricted. It's very low in trading fees. It's never been hacked before, and it's been on the market for 4 years. That's an exceptionally good track record. You don't want to miss an exchange like this. A lot of exchanges out there are degrading in quality. Getting hammered with regulations, getting hammered with restrictions like BitGet, for example. Previously, a very strong exchange. I do still like it fundamentally, but now you can't access it from Australia, you can't access it from the USA, you can't access it from Canada. Where can you access it from? That's not a problem on Bitunix. And with my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount and up to $8,000 in rewards, as you can see in the bottom of the screen. So check out that link down below to sign up. It helps out the channel and it helps out yourself by getting on a solid exchange. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.